Hello everyone, I'm Eylon Levy. Today is June 4th, 2024, day 242 of the October 7th war. This is the daily briefing of the Israeli Citizen Spokesperson's Office. We're live on all social media platforms. I invite you to start sending questions and we'll answer them at the end. Yesterday, the Israel Defense Forces announced that it had confirmed the deaths of 4 Israeli hostages in the Hamas terror dungeons. The 4 hostages are Chaim Perry, 80 years old, Amiram Cooper, 84, Yoram Metzger, 80, and Nadav Popplewell, 51. Hamas seized all 4 from their homes on October 7th and abducted them into Gaza. The IDF said, based on new intelligence, that the 4 were killed together in the Khan Yunis area several months ago. What kind of monsters? What kind of barbaric savages look at men who are old enough to be their grandparents and take them hostage? The level of dehumanization on display by Hamas and its supporters on October 7th and every day since is unfathomable. Chaim Perry was a peace activist. He believed in coexistence. He volunteered to drive sick children from Gaza who came to Israel to receive medical treatment. None of that saved him. Peace activism didn't save Vivian Silva when she was burned alive in her home in Kibbutz Be'eri. It didn't save Eylon Levy, who is still a hostage in Gaza. None of this was relevant to Hamas terrorists, who see every single Israeli and every Jew as a legitimate target. All 4 of the Israeli hostages whom the IDF confirmed were killed in the Hamas terror dungeons, Perry, Cooper, Metzger, and Popplewell, were seen alive in Hamas propaganda videos. Hamas paraded Popplewell in a propaganda video released just last month. His captors wanted to trick the Israeli public into thinking that he was alive. But we now know that Popplewell was already dead when Hamas published that proof of life. Hamas is waging psychological warfare against the hostages' families, torturing them with false hope. We want our hostages home now. Hamas's backers, Qatar, Turkey, and Iran, must be pressured so they demand Hamas accept the Israeli proposal that's on the table. Iran continues to literally light Israel on fire and watch it burn. Every day, Iran's proxy army in Lebanon, Hezbollah, fires rockets, shoots anti-tank missiles, and sends suicide drones towards Israeli homes. When you see news about rocket attacks, you may see that a rocket landed in an open area. Now that's meant to be reassuring, to tell you everything's fine, no one was hurt, nothing was damaged. But now we see what landed in an open area really means. Northern Israel is on fire. Hezbollah's rockets and suicide drones strike Israeli fields and forests and start fires that spread quickly. Shrapnel from Israeli interceptor rockets that destroy the incoming Hezbollah missiles and suicide drones before they strike Israeli homes and kill Israeli families. These also start fires. It's summer here in Israel. There is no rain here in the summer. Everywhere is dry. The situation in Israel's north is untenable and unbearable. Israel is fighting fires while literally under fire. Israelis have been displaced, 60,000 of them forced to flee their homes in the north since October 8th. Every day, rockets, missiles, suicide drones from Hezbollah, Iran's proxy army in Lebanon. And everyone around the world should ask themselves, why? Why did Hezbollah choose to join the war that the Hamas rapist regime started on October 7th? Why is the government of Lebanon not doing more to stop the Hezbollah army of terror from attacking its neighbors? Why hasn't the UN Security Council demanded that Hezbollah cease fire immediately? And where are all the people marching in world capitals screaming for a ceasefire in Gaza to save Hamas's skin? Is Lebanon not on your maps? Or might it be that you only care to demand a ceasefire when Israel is the one firing? Israel expects everyone, citizens around the world governments, to speak up every day against Hezbollah's attacks and demand that it back off from the border before Israel is forced into a major war to push it away. Because make no mistake, if Hezbollah continues to rain hellfire on northern Israel, Israel has every right to get its people back to their homes safely. Hezbollah must back off, or Israel will force it to back off. We'll now take some of your questions. Thank you.
We've received a lot of questions in advance from the Instagram stories. One person asks, did the Did the EU member states offer to help fight the fires in the north?
I'm not aware of any offers of help. Let's remember, Israel is fighting these fires under fire. If you're talking about sending a helicopter team from Greece or Cyprus, you're asking to send them into a war zone where Hezbollah can target them with anti-tank missiles and other precision-guided missiles and suicide drones as well. That is not a safe environment that any country would be willing to send forces into. And so in the north, it looks like, for now, Israel is on its own. And Israel will draw the lessons accordingly about what it means to keep our people safe if other countries are not coming to our aid.
This is a question from Mayuri, who responded to the Instagram stories. Israel will likely have to build new alliances once the war is over. Who are the likely allies?
I think we have allies and friends around the world, and it's important not to forget that. You look on social media and see the noise and the hate, and a lot of it is coming from bots and coordinated campaigns, and it makes us think that we are alone. I can tell you from the DMs that I'm receiving, we're not. I get messages every day from people in Ireland, people in Norway, people in Spain, countries that just recognize the Palestinian state as a reward for October 7th, saying, drown out the haters, we are with you. We have friends and allies in the free world, and that is where Israel belongs, in the free world, in the club of democracies. And we know that their publics are still with us, even though the opponents of Israel and its haters are louder and they're using violent intimidation to make it impossible for people to speak up for us. What we want to do, part of why we're giving you the tools to fight for us, is to show the world why Israel is doing what it's doing, why we are doing what their countries would do if they came under such attack, or why we're doing what they would like to think they would be capable of doing if they had to fight for their lives. We're not asking for sympathy, we're demanding the world's respect. And I think that reasonable people around the world understand why Israel is fighting to bring the hostages home, to make sure Hamas can never again abduct Israelis from their beds, and they'll respect us more for it, and it'll strengthen our place in the free world.
A common question on Instagram stories is there a statement from Greta Thunberg yet?
Yeah, where is Greta? We really need her now, for everyone saying that Palestine is an environmental justice cause. No, the ecological movement didn't care when Hamas set southern Israel on fire, when Hezbollah sets northern Israel on fire. You can see the imagery from outer space, the massive destruction that is being caused. Need not talk about the carbon emissions, of course. And that shows you the way that Israel is being used, and the other issues like climate are being used to bash Israel rather than out of serious concern for the environment. And of course, anyone who's truly concerned for the environment should be speaking up now about Hezbollah setting thousands upon thousands of acres on fire and sending all those carbon emissions into space.
A question coming through right now on the YouTube Live. Why does the UN let Hezbollah shoot the missiles even with the UN troops there on the ground carrying out a mission?
That's an excellent question, and a reminder that you can send questions on YouTube, not just on Instagram as well. There is a peacekeeping force in southern Lebanon. It's called UNIFIL. It was created after the 2006 war, and its job is to monitor Hezbollah and make sure that it doesn't move south of the Litani. Well, guess where Hezbollah is? It's south of the Litani River, right along the Israeli border. And Hezbollah shows absolute contempt for UNIFIL, treating its observers as human shields and treating the resolution as a dish rag. It's been firing rockets from literally meters away from UNIFIL positions. At the end of the day, this is a question for the Security Council. Security Council is a country on which you have China, Russia, not friends of Israel, and countries like France as well, which are also very closely associated with Lebanon as well, and should be using more pressure on Lebanon and Hezbollah to stop shooting rockets at Israel. But you know, this is a reminder that when people talk about security guarantees for Israel, this is what it looks like. It's not an army that goes in and fights Hezbollah for Israel. It's observers whose jobs are, in the best case scenario, to write reports, but don't actually do anything to keep Israelis safe, because the terrorists are simply able to use them as human shields, hide behind them, and they're not able to fulfill their mandate.
This is another question from the YouTube Live from Nikki, who asks, why is more pressure not being put on Egypt to cooperate with Israel?
We need more pressure on Egypt. It was really dismaying after months of the world falsely accusing Israel of not letting aid into Gaza. Even as the number of trucks went up and up and up, and you can see the numbers, we're reaching record numbers of food trucks going into Gaza. Israel flooding Gaza with aid. UN telling a made-up story about Israel not letting aid into Gaza. But then here's what Egypt did. It shut the Rafah crossing between Gaza and Egypt, and it stopped letting trucks at the El Arish port in Egypt reaching Kerem Shalom. It not only refused to let its own crossing be used for aid, it refused to let aid reach the Israeli crossing. And we didn't have any sort of international outcry. World leaders speaking to Egypt dressed it up in the most polite diplomatic language you can expect. And that's because, unfortunately, Israel is an easy country to push around. And Egypt is a much bigger country that they treat with more respect. And we need our supporters around the world to speak up and say, no, you don't get to push Israel around. If you tell lies about Israel, we will shame you, we will call you out, we will put you in your place. And when other countries are guilty of the things that you are accusing Israel of, we demand that you criticize them accordingly. Because otherwise you're being absolute hypocrites if you're accusing Israel of restricting aid into Gaza when it's false. And then when Egypt does restrict aid into Gaza, you have nothing to say. Be loyal to your own principles. Stop scapegoating and bullying Israel.
Our last question today comes to us on all the platforms all the time. How can people work with you or for you or volunteer with the Israel Citizen Spokesperson's Office?
It's a really heartwarming question, and I'm really glad that we're getting so many questions about how to help. The first thing is follow the Israeli Citizen Spokesperson's Office on all social media platforms. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. Follow it, share the links with all your friends, not only on social media, on your WhatsApp and Telegram channels with all of your friends. Tell them this is the place to go in the afternoon in Israel, 8 a.m. Eastern Time, for the information and the talking points and the messages that you need to continue the fight. Anyone who wants to help us in a more serious way, we are raising donations. Our entire operation, a civilian operation, relies on private donations. You can go to the JGive website, please donate generously, and some of that will be matched by the Israeli Diaspora Ministry, but we're still fundraising. And more than that, anyone who wants to get involved with our community, we will share the link on all the social media platforms, including on our Instagram stories, to the Citizen Spokesperson community, where we will be able to keep you up to date and give you special insider information. It's not only a team that we're building here, we want to build a whole global community of citizen spokespeople who are going to be speaking up for Israel. It's not just me, we have a whole team. Some of them will be taking over the briefings in coming days, so watch this space. Okay, that's all we have time for. Thank you very much, everyone. We will be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Israel time, 8 a.m. Eastern time. Thank you very much, and keep safe. Keep up.
Thanks for watching. Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, share, and hit subscribe to stay updated with our latest content. Until next time, stay informed and inspired. This is Dejobnik signing off.